Destiny, domination, deceit.
Mordekaiser is a very strong duelist with a broken ultimate. He can force an enemy champion into a 1v1 fight and also give his team the upper hand in a 4v4. He is also an AP top laner, so if your team goes for full physical damage, you can always go Mord and add some magic damage. Mordekaiser is a champion that doesn't have a lot of downside, but he does have one big one, his lack of mobility. He has no way to catch up to enemy champions, he either has to rely on his allies or land his E on enemies. For your rune page, you want to go for Precision as your primary and Resolve as your secondary. Conqueror is a great way to get some extra damage on Mordekaiser, and you can stack it up really quickly to get some extra healing. In the Resolve side, you could always go for Shield Bash instead of Bone Plating as well. This is a personal preference. For your summoners, you have two main options, and first is Flash Ignite. Flash is a pretty much must-have since Mordekaiser doesn't have a lot of mobility, and Ignite is if you're looking for kill pressure in the top lane. If, however, you don't think you need Ignite to win your 1v1 lane, you can always go for Flash and Teleport. This is a much better option if you're instead looking to pressure around the map instead of going for 1v1 snowballs. Mordekaiser's passive is Darkness Rise. This makes his basic attacks deal 40% additional bonus magic damage on hit. When he hits enemies with his abilities or auto attacks 3 times, he gains an aura. This gives him bonus movement speed, as well as deals damage to the enemy champion based on their maximum health. It's pretty much just a way to get a little bit of extra mobility and deal a bit of extra damage. Mordekaiser's Q ability is Obliterate. When activated, Mordekaiser will strike his mace in the target area, dealing magic damage, which is increased if only one enemy is hit. Because of the area of effect, this is a great way to help you farm minion waves quickly, but it's also great for fighting enemy champions. As long as you're hitting just that single target, it will do a pretty big chunk of damage. Mordekaiser's W ability is Indestructible, and this is your shielding and healing. You store 45% of the damage you deal as your shield, which can be up to 30% of your maximum health. When you activate this, you will get a shield based on the amount that you have stored. When you recast it again, you will consume the remaining shield and get healed for a portion of the amount. Keep in mind that this isn't a 1-to-1 ratio, so you do want to try to use the shield if you can, rather than healing. After the fight is over, that's when you usually want to recast it to get healed, since you're not going to use the rest of the shield. Your E ability is Death's Grasp, which first gives you some passive magic penetration. When activated, you'll summon a claw in the target direction that grants sight of the area. After half a second, it will deal magic damage to enemies within and pull them towards you 250 units. Since you are a champion that doesn't have a lot of mobility, this is a great way to pull an enemy on top of you because you can't really chase them down too well. And finally, we have your ultimate, Realm of Death. When activated, you'll banish an enemy to the Death Realm for 7 seconds. When activated, he'll heal himself and reduce the target's attack damage, ability power, attack speed, maximum health, armor, magic resist, and size. If he kills a target in the Death Realm, he will keep their stats until they respawn. It's a great way to give yourself an advantage in a 1v1 or to pull a dangerous target out of a teamfight. For your skill order, put a point in your ultimate at 6, 11, and 16, and then focus on maxing your Q ability, followed by your E, and then your W. For your full trading combo, pull the enemy in with your E and then land your Q and auto attack. You can then keep attacking, and whenever you want, activate your W to get a shield, and after the fight, use it again to heal yourself. For your all-in with your ultimate, pull the enemy in, and when they get to you, use your ultimate. You can then auto-attack Q auto-attack to trigger your passive, and when you need it, use your W. Mordekaiser definitely wins most matchups, especially those against champions who aren't strong in the early game. He does, however, have some bad matchups though, especially those that are strong in the early game just like him, that have some really good sustain. Try to poke these enemy champions as much as you can and use your W to get some good sustain so you don't get pushed out of the lane. For your items, start with a Doran's Ring or a Doran's Shield and a health potion. You then want to move into your core items, which is a Rylai's Crystal Scepter, Riftmaker, and Liandry's. You can always replace one with a Proto Belt as well, but usually I stick with these 3. At some point you want to make sure you pick up your boots as well and get either plated steel caps or merc treads. If you know that you're going to get the boot upgrades, you probably want to get these before any core items. After your boots and core items, follow up by getting some tankier items. Tons of different items work here. You could get Azonias, Thornmail, Randuin's, Spirit Visage, Jack Show, and many other items as well. In the early game, try to get an advantage over the enemy champion and poke them with your Q ability. Use your E and Q combo to farm minion waves unless you're trying to freeze the lane. Look for opportunities to all in the enemy champion whenever you land your E ability. You can do a lot of damage really quickly. In the mid and late game, you can either focus on split pushing or grouping for teamfights and objectives. When you do get to teamfights, try to choose an enemy that you can easily 1v1 to make the teamfight in your advantage. You do also have the option of sacrificing yourself as well if the enemy team has a very fed carry. You can always pull them out of the fight and just try to survive while your team wins the 4v4.